We are back for Baschamania, my favorite coffee talk crew, Coffee Cenzo and Wine Willie. And I just asked my wife to pour me a glass because if Willie's having a glass of wine to do this, I can
You not pour
too.
your own?
No, but we already started. So since we
Okay. All right,
started,
fair.
I didn't want to put you guys on hold and make you wait. So there's obviously a lot to talk about. We have all had a lot of conversations since the weekend, really, about NIL. There's a lot of misinformation out there with what's going on. Cenzo, you're at the center of all this because obviously
Unfortunately,
so much of this is about real. And Willie and I have been talking to endless coaches, endless athletes. And there's a lot of misinformation because you can't say what you want to say. Like, Willie, I watched your 15 minutes this morning, and obviously I know the background. I thought you did a good job of balancing, telling the stories without the names.
Yeah.
But obviously you did talk about Buchanan, which we'll talk about. Where do you guys want to start with this?
Well, I think, I said in my piece, and for people that didn't watch the show that are going to watch this, that are, watching yours, here's the situation. There are allegations from both Justin and I talked to 100 coaches. We got one on the show here with Vincenzo that's going to say, what he knows. But the situation is that we talked to hundreds of coaches and they're saying that people are calling their guys unsolicited and saying, jump in the portal and we got you. And, on my show today, I tried to make it abundantly clear that this is what I'm being told. This is what a lot of people are being told. And that I was told that Iowa was guilty of, they're alleging that Iowa was guilty of it. They are alleging that Michigan was guilty of it. I tried to make it abundantly clear that I am not saying they are guilty of it. I'm saying this is what the coaches are telling me.
Well, because coaches are hearing that students are going to coaches and saying, so-and-so is telling me to hop in the transfer portal and I'll get a bag of cash, essentially. Yeah. I'll get a deal. Right. I'll get this. And so what the coach is doing is saying to their AD, who's reporting it to the NCAA, even though Felters does not think that violations happen, they're going and saying, hey, so-and-so and related parties are poaching our athletes. Whether or not how that's connected is going to be very interesting. We know some of the names that are reaching out to kids. How they connect them in the program, they may or may not be able to do. But the fact of the matter is, and I don't know the rules with when you can contact an athlete and when you can't. You guys, I'm sure, know those much better.
When they're in the portal, yeah. So just from me, I have multiple student athletes on my team that were being approached. I'm not saying directly by opposing coaches or anything like that, but probably donors contacting their previous coach, high school coach, or whatever, telling them that they can get this bag of cash for them if they decide to transfer. Which doesn't seem super good for the sport to me. But it's just they are getting approached indirectly before they're even in the portal, and that's kind of an issue.
Mark Branch, I said to him, because I heard the rumors, right? And I said, Mark, tell me it isn't true. And he goes, Willie, people don't care if they kill programs and kill the sport as long as they don't get ahead.
They don't. And teams, there's, teams, a certain one right now, they're trying to buy a national championship, it seems, just from, what I've heard. So it's, it makes things really tough. And Justin, you just tweeted, 2020, let's save Stanford wrestling. Now one of our guys is one of the first to get bought by another program. And now we have another one that's, getting good offers too. And, a lot of it, what you see, some of it's true and some of it, what you see isn't true. I believe that some of these guys are, they have coaches or people in their corner that are kind of making things up to leverage other programs for more money. That's what it appears to be. I can't prove any of that, but that's just from what I've seen.
Cenzo, I'm when we talk about these things, what I'm seeing on what I'm seeing on social media, well, I'm seeing two things. First of all, right now I'm getting like roasted by some people for saying that, well, Willie, you should have confirmed that this was true before reporting it. I didn't report that Iowa and Michigan broke rules. I reported that other coaches are saying they broke rules. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And the second thing is that a lot of people assume, I mean, they keep going back to the Real Woods thing. And I just want to make it clear that, obviously you have the most intimate knowledge of this. It's not just real, right? There's other guys on your team that are getting approached by third parties, correct? Yes. They're not the head coaches. They're not assistant coaches. No. They are proxies, for more lack of a better term.
Right. And, it's a smart way to do that, right? It keeps it in bounds, and you can't really track phone records or anything like that if it's a third party. So what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
And it's spreading. It's spreading like crazy, where I have coaches asking me, is it true so-and-so offered so-and-so X amount of money? And it's spreading. Askren just put out on Twitter about Shane. Like, Askren's talking about Shane's been offered $100,000 from Rutgers. I heard from two people, no clue if it's true. And that's what, it's so out there right now. And everybody who's connected is all hearing the same stuff. And there's a lot of people right now that are talking about the money. This isn't about the money. And Willie, I think you alluded to this. This isn't about NIL. NIL is just the fuel on the fire. It's simply the backdoor conversations that are happening are now being fueled, propelled, and taken to another level because there's a bag of cash potentially involved.
Yeah, it's almost like the potential NIL deal is the carrot, but the tampering is the stick.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, also, you can't pay an NIL to someone to wrestle for a certain place. You pay them for their name, image, likeness. That's literally what NIL is. It's you don't pay them to wrestle for whatever Big Ten school or whatever school is trying to buy them at the time, and because they literally can't. You're not allowed to collude like that. So it's just it makes a sticky situation, and I think it's just driving the sport in the complete wrong direction.
Well, I talked to Adam Fellers this morning for an hour, and we're going back and forth about all the stuff that's going on. And, we're debating. He was like, well, is it against the rules if they do this and that? And we're talking about, and at one point I said, Adam, here's the thing, really. I don't know what's against the rules. I don't know if they can enforce it, if there's a third party, like I said on the show. If you're the head coach somewhere of somebody being accused of this, you could say, hey, that's a crazy booster. I can't control all my boosters. Right.
Yep. Right. Yeah.
But so I said, Adam, here's the thing that gets me. I don't know what's legal. I don't know what's not. I don't know if anybody's going to get in trouble. I don't know what they're going to do. But it just doesn't sit right as a value judgment when instead of developing your own guys, you dangle a carrot for them, right? And the Buchanan thing really gets me, man. And I know you're probably sitting there saying, we just lost Real Woods. I know you too. But Stephen Buchanan, he's like the heart and soul of Wyoming, right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's
that upsets me also.
But that's go ahead.
No, you first. I said go ahead first.
I was just gonna say, that's why I tweeted out 2020, it's Save Stanford Wrestling, Save Stanford Wrestling. Now it's, hey, leave Stanford, I got a bag for you. And great for real to make money. But
yeah, I'm happy for the kid, and I probably would have taken the deal too. You can't blame the kids. You can't blame the kids in this situation.
Cenzo, can you talk at all about how it went down on your side?
There's really not much to talk about.
Was it just hey, I'm leaving, got money, or
we were kept in the dark for a good bit about it. We heard from other people that he was getting bought out before we even really had a chance to do anything about it. And then, obviously we've raised so much money this year for like Stanford wrestling, just as a total, that like, there's not going to be a donor that's going to like want to step up and, pay a kid directly this much amount of money. It's kind of ridiculous. But, like I said, like we've raised money for Stanford wrestling, for the program, for the RTC. So it's just like, what else do you want us to do, man? Like we're bringing in people for, we have partners for you. That's why we're bringing in money for the RTC and stuff like that. So you have people to work with, people to work out with, get better, learn from and stuff. But now they're just, dangling cash in front of kids. And it's hard to say no to that.
Yeah. And especially too, I think there's a lot of naive people who think that these big paydays, and I was one of them initially. I didn't think, going back to Soriano, I'm like, there's no way, Michigan potentially coordinated.
So with Soriano, like, I don't know what his exact NIL deal is, because he doesn't post anything. Like, where is he using his name, image, likeness?
Well, that's what I said.
No disrespect to Soriano whatsoever. Like, he's awesome. Like, I root for the guy. I like watching Nick wrestle. He was my teammate for a year. But like, where's the NIL at?
Well, that's what I said too, is like the title of it is name, image, likeness, but he's not doing anything with his name, his image, or his likeness.
Unless it's stuff that we're not seeing, but yeah.
It could be. There are some wrestlers that are getting spokesperson deals where they could randomly show up at a conference or show up somewhere over the course of a year. And what I think we're going to start seeing afterwards is, right now, you're allegedly seeing big bags of cash to come wrestle for a year. What happens when you're done? Because these kids likely aren't asking for a big bag of cash to stay there. Like, did Soriano, if he was offered a big bag of cash, was he offering or negotiating a deal for post that? What happens? Is he staying at the Cliff Keen Wrestling Club? Like, these are things that are going to happen after the fact. Obviously, I think all the rumors and everything that's out there is that it's boosters, it's alumni. They care about the school. The big bags of cash are to win a national championship. They do not care about the RTC level a tenth of as much. So what's going to happen to these athletes once they're done? Once they're 1 year, 2 year, and it's also, let's say it's a 2-year deal, and these are backdoor things happening. So if after 1 year of the 2-year deal, somebody else offers a big bag of cash and they go to another school, you ain't enforcing it. How are you going to enforce that?
Yeah.
You can't. Do you guys think like this could lead to a decline at all for just USA wrestling in general? Just like as us as a country, freestyle, Greco, stuff like that, because we're not going to have the same amount of money for RTCs now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, what's going to happen, you would think, just connecting dots, is that the donors who have always donated to the RTCs, because that's the only place they could donate to. Now they can now they can donate directly to the lineup, directly to the college lineup, right? So now, let's say Real Woods, that might be a bad example, but okay, Soriano gets money to wrestle his senior year at Michigan. That booster's like, nah, I ain't donating to the RTC. I'm donating. I'm going to donate to
Nick Soriano.
Gamma Bean. He's still here.
Right.
So it's a good point.
Well, and I mean, look at the crowd at NCAAs versus the crowd in a couple of weeks at the Open. The donors don't nearly care as much. And that's why when Corby said something yesterday about, well, if Penn State could give a bag, NLWC raises just as much money as anybody. And that money could be diverted to less money to the NLWC, more money to the athletes through whatever. And not all these deals that you're seeing and not seeing, these, again, they're not just NIL deals. They're backdoor deals that are not happening through a university. Every deal is not going through the university to say, hey, this is what we're going to give them. It could be a backdoor consultation agreement. All of a sudden, they're a consultant for a company now. I want you to consult with me 1 hour for the year. This is what we're going to give you. It's not going through the university. All these deals are not getting left to chance on the university level. If somebody's like, yeah, I'll come to your school if I get that bag. Okay, now let's run it by the school. That ain't happening.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know. One thing that'll obviously, like Cenzo said, it'll potentially hurt USA Wrestling. It'll hurt the RTCs because now, like let's say James Green, right? Or is somebody going to pay James Green, or are they going to pay a hokey?
Well, they're gonna have to pay Mackay to come back next year because other schools are going to try to poach him. So, like, instead of that money that would be raised for James Green to work with Mackay so that he's a national champ caliber wrestler, is going to Mackay. So, what does James do now? Like, and I have no idea, like, if that's even happening a little bit, but that's just an example, But it's just going to start a trend in the sport where guys are just paying the kids, and then so say, you pay X amount for a kid to, commit to the school, whatever, and he doesn't pan out. You cut him off after the first 2 years. You can't do that. Now you're stuck without money. Now you're done paying that program.
I wonder if this will seem a little reactionary, a little dramatic, I guess, but I wonder if the NCAA coaches could all take a vote and go to the NCAA and say, listen, NIL stuff, not in our sport. Let if football and basketball wants to do it collectively, we as a sport say no, because it's a disaster.
Dude, I was brainstorming the other day. If I was the NCAA, right? If I got to make rules, which would be cool, right? One, like, at least make it a cap, right? An NIL cap for your team. Like, you can only spend a certain amount of money on NIL, or your guys on your roster can only accept a certain amount of money, like, total for NIL. Like, I think that'd be a pretty good idea. So you can still get it done. So you can have, your top guys in college wrestling, like your Spencer Lees, Yannis, Romans, those guys get some money on top.
How it started was that it was supposed to be NIL stuff, right? And so the Yannis and the Spencers and the Gable Stevensons, you can understand if they're getting money, but now it's not NIL. They're just funneling money, right? Yeah. And so, I don't know. I think the only way that it can happen, I think the only way that you stem this, like curb this, is for the coaches to vote no NIL in our sport. And for the wrestlers out there that are in 8th grade and they go, well, we're not going to be able to make money in college wrestling. Go play something else.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even think about making money in college.
Right.
Wrestling. Like, that wasn't part of it. You wrestle because you love it. You love the grind. You love the battle. You love winning. Like, you don't wrestle for a bag of cash.
And I said it before, the NCAA is sitting back and laughing about all this. Like, you people wanted NIL, and now it's went to hell in a handbasket, and now you want us to govern it? Middle finger.
Yeah, and the other thing too, that, like, there's a lot of bad takes on my Twitter, a lot today in my replies. One is that, what's the big deal with Real Woods leaving Stanford as a grad student? There's so many things to it that it's not just him saying my time at Stanford's done, I want to go somewhere else as a grad student. For me, as somebody who's now a fan of the program, it's watching somebody leave, and it's not a level playing field. It's deals starting to happen before coaches know about it, where it's not just, hey, I'd like to go get this grad degree here. That's not what is happening.
No, he didn't say, guys, he didn't bring us in and say, hey, I'd like to pursue other options for my graduate degree. It's just, we just kind of found out it was happening. I don't think that people, to be completely honest, I don't think people have their sights set on Iowa grad school most of the time. But it's, you know what I mean? It's part of the game now. So, and like I said, I probably would have taken it too. Like, if I was put in that position, how do you say no to that?
No offense. I mean, I'm not trying to lessen the blow to you, Cenzo, but to me, there is a little less anger to the Real Woods situation because he did graduate.
He graduated. I have zero anger towards Real Woods at all. Real Woods is an awesome dude.
Yeah.
I just get upset with the situation.
I'm just saying, on the levels of things that I don't like, he graduated. He obviously just felt like he wanted something new. I think that's a lot less. I think it's a lot more palatable and some third party calling Shane Griffith.
Correct. And that's what my tweet was about. When I said save Stanford Wrestling, save Stanford Wrestling, and then it's here's a bag. It's not just about real. Like Willie said, like a grad student transferring, like I don't care about kids transferring whatsoever. Literally could not care less. Sebastian Rivera wants to go do a final year at Rutgers and go home to Jersey. Great. Who cares? What I don't like is the backdoor deals happening. It's not a level playing field. And like Willie, you talked about it. And for everybody listening, you should go watch Willie's first word today on his ROKFIN channel. He covered this good. But like the story of Buchanan leaving Wyoming, where Branch did an amazing job landing a recruit, and now that recruit develops, and what's going to happen as a domino of that is what's going to happen now next year. All 20 NCAA finalists are going to hit the portal and see what their worth is.
Yeah.
And it's like, so if you go and develop a great athlete, they win a national championship, and now it's, they're a national championship. And if they have a big audience, and it's like, let's go offer him money.
Somebody sent me, John Mark Bentley, the head coach of Appalachian State, was on FRL today, and somebody sent me a clip, and he said that at NCAAs, schools were getting at him. Come with us.
At the national tournament.
Yeah. I don't know who. I mean, he didn't say who, but
that's funny.
Man, that's grimy.
Also, I'm just using this as an example. If I'm Jacob Warner, I'm finding out how much money exactly Real is making, and I'm not stepping on the mat unless it's more money.
Well, and that's another place I was going to go with this. Is what's going to happen is there are some kids who, let's say, they go to their coach and say, "Coach, I got offered $100,000 to go wrestle here. Can you give me half that? Can you get me half that? I'll stay." And then let's say the coach says, "Fine, I'll get a booster. We'll get some money together." Now the next guy knows these guys making 50,000. Well, if he's making 50,000 to wrestle, and now it's a dangerous slope where every guy who starts winning is going to start wanting that massive payday.
I mean, Jacob Warner could say, "Look, Real Woods took 6 and scored 9 points. I was in the finals and scored 19."
That's what I'm saying, man. Pay me.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild that I don't think people understand the domino effects. And I don't understand why, like, Iowa's coming at me harder today than they have in years, when this isn't about Iowa. This isn't about Real Woods. This sure as hell isn't about Penn State. But no matter what no matter what you say right now, every Iowa fan on planet Earth is saying, "Oh, I don't buy it. Penn State wanted Real Woods." Penn State is just mad they didn't get Real Woods.
Penn State never even contacted or made an offer to Real Woods from Penn State.
Yeah, and like I've been trying to say that on Twitter too, and it falls on deaf ears. They won't accept it. They won't.
But I will say, when the Real thing was going on, I did get a call from another coach, and he was like, "Well, I heard that Penn State's offering him this," and I was like, "They're not, one, because the school can't offer anything. It has to be a donor. And 2, no donors from Penn State have offered Real anything."
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. It's
it's a tough situation. But hey, we could take a break from this for 1 second. I have another roll to run past you guys.
All right.
2-foot push out.
What's a 2-foot push?
2-foot. Like, so push out roll, instead of the stall edge stalling, it's a two. So like a foot and a knee. Like, if you push me out and I have 1 foot out of bounds, like, we're still in. But if you get both my feet out, that's 1.
Yeah, I like that.
2-foot push out
in folk
style. Yeah.
Oh, I'm all the way in on that.
I love it.
I'm all the way in on that.
Yeah, I'd support that if I could vote for it.
If we could run that up to the NCAA and we could make a vote on that 2-foot push out, get rid of the edge stalling. 2-foot push out.
2-foot push out in, NIL's out.
Yeah, and no headgear. Get rid of headgear.
My thing too with NIL being out is, even if there was a cap on it, you're still going to get, here's 50,000 on the table, here's 50,000 under the table.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's the problem with the cap.
A cap would be a good start, though. I mean, like, professional sports have a cap, they have a salary cap. So, like, why should there not, like, there's a scholarship cap, right? Why would there not be an NIL cap?
If you look at all the NIL deals that are public or that we've seen, they're all fair amounts from what I've heard. they're all good deals. It's the ones that sound shady.
The ones you don't. Yeah,
right.
That are. The ones that sound shady that are.
Right. It's those ones that it's like,
Didn't some kid from California sign with Tennessee as a quarterback for like $9 million?
Yeah, I heard it was $8 million. Like 18-year-olds making
$9 million.
Yeah, 18-year-olds making $9 million a year.
That'll turn out well.
Yeah.
You know what would have happened?
I'm thinking of me if I was 18 and had like $8 million. Like,
you know what would have happened if I was a star quarterback that got $8 million at 18 to go to? I would have bought the bar on Bar Row. That wouldn't have turned out well.
That's a very specific bar and street name.
Yeah.
He thought hard on that.
I probably would have too, man. Like I don't get it. I mean, I think it's good for like back to Real Woods. I'm happy for him that he's making money. Like, he's doesn't come from much and he's busted his butt. Like he's making some money now. Like I'm happy for the dude, but a little salty at the same time, like, so it's a tough situation. Like I said, zero animosity or anger towards the college wrestling kids. It's like, it's not their fault. They're not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a tough place to be if you're a coach right now. If you're a coach and you recruited, and if you develop somebody and then they're coming to you and saying,
I mean, like, we've been here for a year. Like, we can't really, we can't get mad like that. Like, oh, like, this is our guy. Cause like, he was here before we were.
No, not even necessarily you, but like coaches who have been there for
like
10
Branch
years.
with Buchanan. Like, yeah, I can understand. Yeah. Like, I would be really upset if that was the situation. Or even like, so like you see that MJ Gaten kid.
Yeah,
he was committed to Cal Bat.
Yeah,
and now he's going to Iowa State.
Are you saying he got a bag?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Right.
Probably. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
it is funny on Twitter now. It's like, finally, it's weird, Justin, because finally there's a story that has nothing to do with Penn State, and they still can't stop talking about Penn State.
And people just rope them into everything.
It's the one time that Penn State has nothing to do with anything.
I was taking shots at Iowa jokingly about the medical forfeit stuff at Big Tens, and I didn't get a tenth of the hate that I'm getting right now for you're just salty, you didn't get real. I'm like, first of all, this is more me being a Stanford. Right. This is a lot more about me being a Stanford fan than a Penn State fan, number one. Number two, I can tell people that I talked to the Penn State guys. I talked to Cal. They did not want real. They're all set. But no matter, you can have Cal, Casey, Cody, Jimmy, Varner, everybody come out and say, guys, honestly, we didn't want Real Woods. We didn't make an offer. We didn't contact him. And still the Iowa fans would be like, yeah, okay.
I think that Real thought that he did get contacted by Penn State, though.
Well, I'm hearing from some kids or some stories that kids think they have an offer from somebody's telling them hey,
right, yeah, someone's telling them. I don't know who, but someone's telling them. Someone's feeding them stuff.
That's definitely
and like
happening.
I said, they're just trying to leverage more money from other places, I think. Unless I'm completely off here, but I don't think I am.
Or I think what's happening is friends are saying, I think I can get you this if I go talk to the coach. Or I think if we do this, we can go get this. And I think kids are running with it. Like, oh, I got an offer.
Right.
And it's not going to be long.
Things are all over the place too. There's a lot of scuttlebutt I got a call from a high school coach today. And one of his athletes is at a prominent program. And he said to me, where do you think I could get an offer from another school? Now, right? For this guy. And I said, well, I heard that you got an offer from this school. And he goes, no, that's not true. So there's stuff everywhere. You gotta really be dialed in. I'm telling you, kids don't even know if they gotta. There's just so much circulating right now.
Willie, how long, in your opinion? Because I think I think this is going to happen. How long until someone promises a kid something, said kid transfers, no deal happens? Like somebody talks out of the side of their mouth, promises something, kid transfers, and then nothing happens.
Oh, I hope it happens. I hope it's a shit show. I hope it's a shit
Willie's
show.
ready for it to all implode.
I hope that doesn't happen to the kid himself, but like I wouldn't be mad about that situation though, because then things would start to go bad for this NIL thing. So,
I want the NIL thing to go really bad. I want that to happen. I want that to happen sooner than later. I want some kid to supposedly have a deal, controlled. Gets there and he doesn't, and he raises a stink about it. And then all the kids who think they have a deal say, maybe I should just go to the place that I really like. Right. I had a kid, a father emailed me 2 days ago and said, hey, he was committed to this school. He said, we're looking for schools. I said, what are you talking about? You're committed. You've been committed for 8 months. And he said,
looks up
Willie, I don't want to badmouth anybody. What's that?
Yeah, look up who's committed 8 months ago.
Yeah, no, I don't know exactly what.
Yeah, now it's not 8 months.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I was just off the cuff 8 months. But I said, what are you talking about? You've been committed. He said, Willie, I don't want to badmouth anybody, but at the 11th hour, they made a math error, and now his aid or scholarship is now, instead of having to pay $12,000, we have to pay $32,000.
Oh, so it's an Ivy League school, is what you're saying?
Oh, it's on that level.
Yeah, okay.
It's on that level, and so right, like curveballs at the end, you know. Maybe that happens with NIL deals too.
I think it's only a matter of time until that happens. This is not what you're also starting to see is, and I know, Willie, you use the verbiage steam coming out of their ears. I reused that on the conversation an hour ago because it's spot on accurate. These coaches are doing everything they can at some schools to get every ounce of proof to try to nail it back to the school.
Yeah.
That is tied to the offer. And it's going to be tough because, like you said, if you're just saying, some crazy booster, we can't control him.
Well,
do that.
Yes,
but if
you're making a good point. I mean, if I was a head coach, I would have a mandatory fire drill meeting. Get in the room right now. And I talk to my team and I would say this. I would say, team, here's what's happening. It's poaching season. Teams are out there. They want to look at you. Not on my watch. Not here. We're brothers. We've got into this together. We fight together. This is what I want you to do. You get a call.
Yeah, money talks, man.
$1,000 bounty for any text message.
You get a call. You work them motherfuckers. You say, tell me more. Hey, you know what's better? Text is better. Why don't you text me?
I like that.
Hey, why don't you email me? Why don't you email me what you're talking?
Hey, anyone listening, you want to go after Shane Griffith, just text him or me.
Right?
Well, allegedly
somebody's gonna get got.
I mean, there's already
it's gonna happen.
There's already one coach who I can't say yet. Will, you know who it is, that said that their student athlete texted them and said, hey, so-and-so just called me and offered me this.
Yes.
Oh, you got to tell me this whenever we're done recording.
I already told you who it is, but I'll connect the dots on who this is.
Yeah, tell me again. You know how good my memory is.
Somebody's going to get caught. It's inevitable.
But it's going to be curious to see what's happening between a school and a booster. And is there something that ties them, or could it really be a crazy booster? That could be the case. But and who knows how far this isn't football, this isn't basketball, which is what Alston was all based upon. It was based upon football and basketball, NIL, education-related benefits, perks, all that. So who knows if Cenzo says, hey, I think that, Iowa offered one of my athletes illegally money, and the NCAA looks into it. who knows if they can ever make that tie and how far
Right.
they're willing to dig, especially within wrestling.
That's why I'm saying I hope that some schools get ahead of this and say, hey, this is the new team. Listen, team, this is the new ball game here. People are going to
we had a meeting the other day. Yeah.
Did you say, listen, get receipts?
Yeah,
because I would.
We just had a little meeting with NIL the other day about what we can and can't do. And some of our students, were there also. So I think they have a pretty good idea. So if anything, I'd say mischievous goes on with some of them, I think we'll have a pretty good idea going forward.
Yeah, going forward. Look, you could see in, I won't name schools that will do this, but I can picture schools that will let a kid get poached if he's underperforming. Then they might be like, fine, go. Free up our scholarship.
I just want to go back to this. Like, if you're a donor and you make a commitment to a kid, even like coming out of high school, or they had a good freshman year or anything like that, and then that kid just underperforms. Like, what do? You got to keep paying him, right? He's like, you signed a contract.
Well, this is still gonna. I still can't wait for the day. I'm team chaos right now. I am.
No, you are. You're always team chaos, bro.
For chaos.
When are you not?
I have always hated NIL. I don't hate it in concept. I hated it because I knew it was going to be a shit show, and now it's here, and it's a total shit show.
And it's a shit show.
I want it to continue to be. I want it to be so bad of a shit show that something gets done about it, because we're still going to see stuff like this. Imagine if Anthony Etchemendia got a bag, right? There was bidding war for his services.
You guys keep cutting out.
Before NIL existed, right? Let's just say a huge giant recruit gets money to come there, and he immediately doesn't work out. Remember Fox Baldwin? Remember how awesome Fox Baldwin was?
Fox Baldwin was a dog, bro.
He was so good, so talented.
He was a dog.
Everybody was after him. I'm pretty sure he cocained his way out of UVA, right? He never even wrestled a match, maybe. I don't know. But the equivalent of Fox Baldwin today would probably get a bag. And
oh, yeah, no doubt.
And he wouldn't ever make a dent. And then that's going to go south.
You're stuck paying a kid $400,000.
Are you stuck paying a kid, or are you stuck paying a kid, or do you say, or does that booster say, I ain't paying for that? And then you pull his money out, and then Fox Baldwin tweets to the world, hey, they didn't hold up their end of the bargain. Don't ever go to that school again.
I'm getting a
well, yeah.
call real quick. Hold on.
And if a lot of kids are, I think we said this earlier, but if kids are getting a backdoor deal for multi-year, if Real gets a deal for 2 years and after a year decides to leave, there's no contract. This isn't professional sports.
Right. So, Justin, do you have any insight on that? Because I don't. I've been very
on what
open about. I don't know how it works. Is there a contract that is signed, or is there we'll take care of you?
It depends on who is offering the deal and what the company is or what the deal is. There's some deals that, because we were talking about the Gable situation on the phone, that with NIL, you cannot get a contract through a university if the deal extends past the athletic eligibility. So you can't have a deal that has post-athletic once your eligibility is over.
So Suriano couldn't have gotten a 2-year deal.
Correct.
Yeah.
So because I know athletes that have gotten 5-year deals, completely legit deals that are public, but initially they were 5 years, 6 years. University said, no, it has to stop when the eligibility's up, which is why I said if the WWE comes out and gives Gable a 2, 3, 4-year deal, whatever it might be, there's no shot he's coming back because his eligibility's gone without that deal. So I think what you're going to see is handshake backdoor deals where money's funneled through. I think my complete guess is you're going to see, yeah, come here, we'll take care of you. Now, let's just say the deal's 100,000 because that number keeps getting thrown out. I think a $20,000 deposit is going to happen somewhere. And then it's going to be the rest of the money will get deposited after you enroll, after you.
Got you.
Because I'm hearing some of these.
You can't do that.
No. And I'm hearing some of these deals that some of these athletes are getting are not even a full season. It's come here, wrestle a few matches and wrestle conferences and NCAAs.
100%. I heard the same.
So I don't think some of these deals are, and time will tell. At some point, there has to be, depending on how clever people got with deals, we have to see what the deal is, whether a company is using it. Because
I think so too. We got to see.
Is that not, Cenzo, does that not have to be public?
I feel like it does.
No, but I mean, by law right now, NLIs don't have to be public, do they? I mean, they should. We all think they should, but I don't think they have to by law right now.
There's two aspects to it because I thought about that. One is, do you make the company name public? Two is, do you make the deal public, which you really can't. Like, you're not going to put Yanni and Spartan's deal out there for everyone to see. That'll never happen. But if you make it where Spartan has to say that they engage with Yanni and Yanni has to put somewhere, that's one thing. That's university.
Yeah.
University approved deals might be somewhere in a log, but these backdoor deals that, and we're very used to social media deals because that's the number one way a company can leverage someone. But if I say, listen, Cenzo, if you go to the US Open, I want you to do a speech for 10 of my friends in the back room, and I'm going to pay you X.
Doesn't sound like a speech.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Are we doing that for real?
Hey, we got to finish our conversation about the Open because I want to see you there.
I know. I mean, I'll be there
with a Baschamania singlet.
Is Leaf wrestling there?
I don't know. I don't know if Grant's wrestling. Maybe Greco. Maybe Greco.
But I think we're used to social media deals, but if somebody did give Soriano a deal, that could be to show up at a conference somewhere and represent the company. It doesn't have to be. Yeah,
well, Feller's thing too. This is Feller's like out for everything. I'm like, I don't see fucking Soriano doing anything to satisfy any name, image, likeness thing. And Feller's always comes back to, well, do you know at certain schools they can give them an internship? Which, yeah, you're right. What's
that to do with name, image, likeness, though?
I don't know, but that's also like very almost not traceable. I mean, I don't deserve to know.
An internship for NIL?
Yeah.
That's part of the Olsen. That didn't come from Fellers. That come from Bashada, who's a very smart attorney, actually looked at the entire opinion, read the entire opinion, and put that bug in Feller's ear where he said, look, everybody's hung up on NIL. This isn't about NIL because part of the Alston opinion, which is what led to NIL, is also that schools can offer academic and education-related benefits. They can offer post-education benefits like paid internships, but everybody just talks about NIL because that's the main one.
Right.
So, yeah. Fellers wasn't answering my call in 4 days because he knows this is coming for him.
Yeah, you guys got to get Fellers on here.
Do we?
Got to pick that dude's brain a little bit.
Oh, my God. He's wound up right now.
He needs to settle down.
I can understand why.
Well, he's out here tweeting that there's 0 violations. And meanwhile, I got coaches like, here's a screenshot. Here's a screenshot. I'm like,
yeah,
you're just talking about fake news and emotions over facts and facts over emotions. Here's the facts. Coaches showing me screenshots.
I mean, I know guys that people that got put in compliance several times. Now, that doesn't mean anything became of it. They might have looked at it and threw it out. But there's stuff that gets put in there all the time.
Well, and that's why I said, if a school, there's no doubt that schools have told me, they've told Willie, yes, we reported X school because our athlete got called to go to that school. The NCAA might look at it and say, if it's Iowa, hey, Tom, did you do this? No. Terry, did you do this? Morningstar, did you do this? No. Okay, case closed. We don't know.
Yeah. Right. And that's what I think a lot of the Iowa fan base, and you should see it in tweets on Hawkeye Report message boards. They're just basically shitting on me. They're not listening. They're not listening to the story. I didn't say that Iowa
they don't care. That's why. They don't care.
Well, the problem is they don't like, even if they know that I didn't say Iowa did anything wrong, they don't like the hint of any possibility of them doing anything wrong.
In their brain, Penn State cheats. They play by the book and they like tough wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and Penn State gets all the recruits and they don't get anybody. But they develop all their guys until they bring in transfers.
Yeah. But they don't listen. I didn't say that Iowa did anything wrong. I said they're being alleged that there's coaches alleging that they did things wrong.
To be fair, and
I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong either. I have no idea. They very well could be doing everything by the book. Like, listen,
there's, and for Fellers and for the Hawkeye fans, that me saying that they're getting put in compliance does not mean they did anything wrong. Right. And for Fellers to say there's no, there's no allegations in wrestling in the last 3 years or whatever. I know for a fact that every single year, coaches report other coaches for calling their signed guys. It happens every year. You have a senior that signed, and a coach calls them or is in the same room with them at a club or something. Those guys get reported all the time. So that's just erroneous.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And the funny thing is I have not said one thing about Iowa. And I will say that the Iowa accounts that are hating on me today have 3 followers and no name and no profile picture.
You know what?
They're not real.
There is some guy out there new. I've never seen him before in my life, some account. And it's the title of the account is Unbiased PSU Fan.
Yep. He was at me today.
He's 100% an Iowa fan.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
He was coming at me. I forgot what he said, but he was one of
them. He blew his cover in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Here's what he said, because somebody tagged mine and Willie's initial response where all I said was false. Penn State did not want real. They didn't make any offers. And he replied, and he showed my tweets and Willie's tweets. And he said, "This is looking like a case of poor loser syndrome for my beloved Penn State. Sad to see." And as I say this as a huge Penn State fan, I'm sure we'll be able to beat Iowa after Woods graduates. Come on. With one follower.
Yeah. They're idiots.
So blooming idiots, as you would say. So from here, I don't know where this goes.
I don't either.
The funnest part of the ride is that we don't know. We made predictions before, but we're not. There's so many things that are going to pop up that were unexpected, and it's going to be a circus.
Right now, I'd say my focus in this whole thing is just trying to keep my guys, and hopefully the guys that we have coming in aren't trying to get snagged too by other programs. And that's really where I'm at right now.
On the big board, final big board, I put Cardenas number 2.
Behind who?
Feldman.
That's fair.
Cenzo did not care about number 2. It's like, who's 1?
My point is, you got big expectations to fill with him, my buddy.
Hey, don't be saying that out loud, because people are going to try to start paying them and offering money now.
Well, I did see Jersey in Ohio are voting on high school NIL.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So you got things to figure out there, bud.
Oh, I know.
We're
working on it.
You have freaking Abbas, Garvin, and Cardenas all in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Got to find the right weights for them, right?
Yeah, we've been me and Rob been doing some math.
Yeah.
we're gonna figure it out. And I'm excited to get both Cardenas and Garvin, and those dudes are hammers.
Yeah.
They're gonna be good, man. But yeah, hopefully they don't get poached away too soon.
Yeah, this poaching just has to stop.
Yeah, it's
and that's, by the way, I don't care if kids get money. I really don't. I just don't like how things are going down. That's the only thing I don't like. And like Willie's case in point of a small school losing Buchanan potentially, which I'm sure we'll do a whole nother show. You already saw Stanford lose Real. There's writing on the wall that everybody wants Shane. Like, that sucks, because everybody legitimately was trying to save Stanford wrestling, and now it's like nobody cares. And now somebody's like quote tweeting me like, don't hate the player. Well, like, come on.
Yeah.
No, not on here.
All right, boys.
Rob wanted to say hi. No, that's really it.
Hey, there he is.
It sounds like he had a few more words. I mean,
that's a
hey, Rob. It's wine hour, buddy.
He can't hear. Hey, you gotta.
Hey, we're having a glass of wine.
You got a motley crew in here. My goodness.
Oh yeah.
He's drinking wine. They're not drinking wine. I'm
Well, hey,
allowed to in the office. So,
to be fair, we're on California time. It's got to be at least 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
it's 3 o'clock here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm
At
surprised
least-
you only first
At
class.
least one, he said.
It's like 75 and beautiful out here.
It
Oh,
is
my
65 here finally, so that's good.
Yeah, take it back.
Join us.
My pleasure.
I'm gonna clickbait that. You won't
Oh, yeah.
believe what Cole joined us
The ma-
to say.
The man himself. All right, guys, I do have to run. So
All right, boys.
that's about the end
All
of it.
right.
for me.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey,
Thanks
but
for-
last thing, my my final word: 2 foot push out.
2 foot push out.
2
Let's
foot push
go.
out. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
we're in
All right.
favor of it, so I love
Wait.
it.
Everyone I
voted.
brought it up to loves it.
Yeah.
We voted.
No,
It's-
Rob, 2 foot push out. Come on. He just
It
doesn't
should
like
go.
agreeing with me.
Fair.
right, see you
All
guys.
right, guys. We'll catch you later.
And the beat goes on.